We have reached week 9 on the NFL calendar. Crazy week in the NFL as well. Major stories in markets such as Cleveland, Las Vegas, and of course in the NFC North in Green Bay. I'm Dan Wiederer. That's Rich Campbell. We've got a lot to unpack in this episode of The Window. We've got a Bears team that's on a lengthy losing streak. We've got things happening with the reigning MVP of the league. Rich, I see your title. Can you explain to me, have you been vaccinated?
Yeah, with the Moderna shot.
Okay.
That's what I was immunized with, the Moderna shot.
Okay. 2 of them?
2. Yeah.
Okay. So you're fully vaccinated.
Yes. Immunized, vaccinated, inoculated.
Okay. No ambiguity.
No ambiguity, no parasite drugs, no horse tranquilizers or zinc or anything like that.
All right. Well, now you're in the crosshairs of the people that are in the crosshairs of the crosshairs.
That's right.
Let's get into picks this week because there's a lot to get into in the picks. We'll start with the Bears heading to Pittsburgh for Monday Night Football. Pittsburgh, by the way, Rich, as you might remember, our first road trip as co-workers on the Bears beat in 2013. First trip back for the Bears since that fateful trip. I think we drank some beers at a very small, was it a brewery or was it just a craft beer place? Remember that place where you just go to the refrigerator and grab your stuff out and then they'd come back later and ask you what you had?
Yeah, I think that was a restaurant. Maybe brew pub. I don't remember. What I do remember is also one of the Marriott bars. Watching college football on one of the Saturday nights or something. Yeah,
and NCAA college basketball official Ray Natili was sitting across the bar. I had just come off the college basketball beat a couple of years earlier, recognized Ray Natili sitting across the bar. So shout out to Ray on the window this morning. Bears also won that game in Pittsburgh, if you remember.
Yeah. Earl Bennett.
Dramatic win. Played really good defense out there. If I'm not mistaken, Jay Cutler threw what in my mind was one of his best passes while we were there. A shot to Earl Bennett in the back of the end zone, going left to right from the press box. Beautiful throw there. That got them to 3-0, I think. Am I right on that? That was right out of the gates.
Yeah, you're right.
3-0 for the Bears. So the question is, it didn't go well after that.
That was probably the apex of the Mark Trestman era.
Almost certainly, right? Almost certainly.
Yeah.
Although the Josh McCown win in Lambeau Field was a good one as well. But do you think that the Bears can recreate this magic at Heinz Field, get the ketchup bottle out, squirt it on, whatever you want to squirt it on, and say, yay, Bears?
Well, it has, for me, as much to do with the Steelers, who have shown they can just fall flat at home and then go to Cleveland and win, right? I mean, the Steelers seem to be at their best when they're the underdog, and they are not this week. Not in, 6.5?
6.5, yeah.
Yeah, 6.5. So that's not a spot that they typically thrive in. I'm going to pick the Bears to cover this.
Okay.
For that reason, and had him last week as well. Thought that was a good pick until it looked like a very good pick up until about the last 5-6 minutes of that game.
Oh yeah.
And so I think they'll keep it close, and maybe they can win. Right. They've got to score more than 22. I mean, that is just with this team. Like, can they ever put it together, regardless of the flashes you see from Justin Fields or anyone else? Like, dude, let's get to 30. That's where the league is, right? The league's at 30. That's where the conversation starts. It has to start if you're going to be good. And the Bears just are never there. It's why they truly are irrelevant in the national landscape. A position that is well earned and hard earned for their fans. And so they get this Monday night showcase this week, and it's just a reminder of that they're not even in the conversation. Right? Yeah. They're just irrelevant. They're an also-ran. They're boring. They don't play exciting football because they don't score, and they have the same problems every year.
They've had some rough moments on the road on Monday Night Football over the years as well. Last year in LA, an empty SoFi Stadium, they laid an egg, and that was sort of the first indication that, boy, this thing is going to go south, right? And it went south quickly after that. You look back on some of this. First of all, the Bears failing to beat the spread last week is one thing. Failing to stick inside the teaser number there, also a big deal given how they controlled that game for much of the first 3 quarters and then fell apart and obviously did nothing defensively and not enough offensively to earn anyone's trust. So here's where I go with this pick. I'm picking the Steelers minus the 6.5. I'm on record at ChicagoTribune.com as 23-13 Steelers. And my thought process is this. The Bears have played 4 road games. They've been miserable in all 4 road games. They won in Las Vegas, scored 2 of their 4 road touchdowns in Las Vegas. But other than that, they've got 4 total touchdowns and 42 possessions on the road this year. They're averaging 10.8 points per game on the road. They're averaging 116.5 passing yards per game on the road. I can't get behind this offense. I just can't. Bill Lazor, the offensive coordinator, on Friday afternoon said, look, there are some things that Justin Fields is doing right now that qualify as encouraging growth, but we're not scoring north of 22 points. We're not doing enough with our passing game to scare anybody. We've got a lot of improvement to make, and I'm not going to go out here and celebrate sort of these flashes of potential when there is so much to work on and so much, to your point, to become relevant at playing good offensive football in this league. That is real talk from an offensive coordinator who is obviously frustrated with the production of the entire operation. It centers around a guy like Allen Robinson, who is a Pro Bowl caliber guy whose production is way, way down from where we're used to seeing it. And Bill Lazor says everyone's production in the passing game is way, way down. I can't get behind that. I'm figuring that the Bears are going to struggle again. They've got TJ Watt coming at them this week. They seem to face a elite pass rusher every week. Justin Fields was great on the move at home against the 49ers. It's a different ball game on the road, and let's see how he handles it.
Yeah, and it's a great point what you mentioned about Bill Lazor, and that's where the difference between a fan base that sees those flashes from Justin Fields and tries to see the bigger picture, see long-term, differs from a coaching staff that needs to win right now. And this is the push and pull, right, that we talked about all season. That's the backdrop for this season, is that coaching staff needs to win, and they need tangible progress. So for a fan base to get excited about that 4th down touchdown run, that electric off-script run, Justin Fields, of course they're excited. There's every reason to be excited about that. The guy can make that type of plays. But then you don't win, right?
Yeah.
And you don't get that team element where everything comes together in the right way. The celebrations, the fanfare, it's muted. It should be muted. You have to understand that he's got to produce consistently. I mean, go back to 2018, and the biggest moment for Mitch Trubisky was the 6 touchdown game against Tampa Bay, right? At least they scored over 40 in that game where celebrating. That turned out to be nothing, but at least I think they had 40, 48?
I think they had 38 of those in the first half, didn't they? I mean, it was a runaway at halftime, and you say, wow, that's at least like, obviously it turned out to be fool's gold, as you mentioned, but at least you saw something that was like, wow, that's wow worthy. Now, Justin Fields' touchdown run was wow worthy. I thought his touchdown pass was wow worthy. I thought he had another pass to open the second half to Jesse James, which was wow worthy. Just one of those plays where elite quarterbacks make something very difficult look very easy, right? And now you got to string those together. And my point all week is there's a difference between a special play and a special performance. And there's a difference between a special performance and a special player. And so you can't jump from point A to point G just because you want to. And that's what the fan base wants to do. They want to believe that this is the breakthrough. You got to see it to believe it. The other part of it is that was a very winnable home game. Very winnable home game against a struggling opponent that had Jimmy Garoppolo playing quarterback and Elijah Mitchell playing running back, and really no one other than Deebo Samuel helping the passing attack. And yet they couldn't stop any of those guys, right? And gave up over 300 yards passing, gave up over 100 and plus rushing, and then Deebo Samuel had a huge day individually as a receiver. You can't let that happen with a defense that's supposed to position you to take advantage of flashes. They didn't take advantage. Fields' touchdown run is followed by a missed PAT by Cairo Santos and a 5-play, 75-yard touchdown drive in which the 49ers just went right through the Bears and stole all of the excitement out of the building in a snap of a finger. So that's where I'm at. The Bears, look, we've talked about this again, redundancy, right? Is see it to believe it thing. Haven't seen it. Haven't seen anything offensively that tells me that they have a offense that is capable of playing consistent football against a quality opponent on the road. Let's see what happens.
Well, and one other thing is just that for any fan or observer who looks at that game last week and says, this is the most encouraging Bears loss in however many years, or I saw what I needed to see in this game, or I feel great about this. That's fine, because I understand where that is coming from, right? You're just looking at the importance of the quarterback position and you're seeing the long term, but at least own the fact that if that's your perspective, you've given up on this season, that this season is gone for you, that you're firing the coaching staff, and it's that part of it is done. And if you want to own that, then you can say, most encouraging loss, I'm fine with how it went, I saw what I needed to see, or anything in those terms that compartmentalizes a flashy play or a couple great plays with the quarterback that gives you that hope, separated, delineated from team success and how that whole operation is growing. Because the consequence of that when you get to the end is you're going to have to blow it up. The kid's going to have to learn a new offense. You're going to have a new GM. You're going to have new players all around him, and it all starts again.
this is my entire issue. And I think most people here have come to grips with the idea that there's going to be widespread change, and they have given up on 2021 here. But my point is, if you come to me on Twitter and you say, Justin Fields' development is the only thing that matters, but you're also saying that you've got to blow out the coaching staff, you got to redo the front office, you probably have to rebuild an aging defense that is past its peak, and you really don't have any top-tier playmakers offensively that you say these guys are going to be absolute stars on the roster for 2022.
What's been your problem for over a decade?
Right. So what does that get you? Okay, great, right? Like, great. There's so much that needs to be done to get this team to be competitive at a high level. And who's still going to be here with Justin Fields if and when he becomes that star quarterback? It's a complicated discussion. It's going to last for months and months and months beyond this. And again, like I told you, the Bears are on a 3-game losing streak right now. They follow this game Monday night with a bye week. So if they lose Monday night, their day between wins stretch gets into the 40s again. They play the Ravens coming out of the bye at Soldier Field. Then it's the trip to Detroit for Thanksgiving. I'll see you there, right?
I'm gonna sit that one out.
But it'd be the 3rd straight year, right? You were there for 2019 with the 4-game losing streak. I lived through the entirety of the 6-game losing streak last year. It'd be the 3rd straight year where you have a month or longer losing streak, and that does nothing for a franchise. It's a mess. Let's get on to the game of the week.
Yeah,
Browns and Bengals. Really good one in the AFC North. The Browns will be without the services of Odell Beckham Jr. He, like you, decided that he wanted no part of the team anymore and just got out.
That's it. Just real. I can't even answer that. That's good.
Just prima donna stuff, and out he went.
You should have seen this. You should have seen the videos my dad was tweeting about you.
About my articles. I saw it, right? Yeah, I saw it. Like when we used to do 3 Bears, he thought my too hot, too cold, and just right were way off.
3 Bears. That's right. That all the gimmicks you tried to do with cold, colder, coldest. He just thought that was garbage.
Yeah. Well, it is. So what do you got? What do you got in this game in the North?
Well, it's Bengals favored by 2.5 at home, and that hook brings both sides into play in a way that otherwise wouldn't. And so I'm going with Bengals at home, and simply for that.
You do that a lot with the 2.5.
What's that?
You do that a lot with the 2.5 line.
I do. I would not be at all surprised if Myles Garrett goes in and wrecks a game and the Browns stand up and kind of show themselves to be the playoff team, the ascending team that we thought they were coming into the season and they looked like at the beginning of the year. They're, a bad loss to the Steelers. They're wounded. That's a wounded team. So I would not be surprised, but I don't have a great feel for the game, especially because the Bengals have been a bit schizophrenic.
Yeah.
Better at home, though. They've been better at home. And so I'll just go with the home team.
Wounded Browns team, but getting healthier as well, which is a big deal. I think Nick Chubb can give them something. It's a really good division rivalry game that has a lot there. I'm going with the Browns in this one. Not 100% confident in it, but I feel like there's a bounce back in them, given all they've dealt with this week, and then obviously coming off the loss to the Steelers a week ago. So that's an interesting one. Move on to the lock category. I'm going to give you one with the Rams. Offense seems to be in overdrive right now. They're giving 7.5 to the Titans. They're at home. It just feels like a Rams team now with the acquisition of Von Miller that says, hey, we are really serious about winning the Super Bowl this year. And let's go out. Let's prove it. Obviously, the Titans are going to have to deal with the loss of Derrick Henry. They added my guy, Adrian Peterson, to the mix. It looks like Adrian Peterson is going to get a lot of work right away for them offensively. Going to be very interesting to see where it goes. Adrian Peterson is one of those guys that, as much as we talk about Tom Brady hasn't taken the punishment that Adrian Peterson has taken over his career. And so to see him playing this deep into his 30s, he could play till he's 50, and he may want to play until his 50s so he can vault to the top of the NFL's all-time leading rushers list. We'll see what he can do in Tennessee. But right now, I feel like the Rams are cooking, and they're going to keep cooking.
Yeah, I like that Rams pick. We'll circle back to him on the teaser portion. But for all the reasons that you said, the Titans were very fortunate to get out of Indianapolis last week with the win.
Wow.
The Colts.
That cost me a lock there.
Yes, and the Colts collapse at the end of that game, and even in the first half, was just stunning. There was you were working, obviously, and maybe you've seen the highlight, but Colts pick off Ryan Tannehill in plus territory, and the ball carrier on the return blows out his knee on the return, puts the ball back on the turf. Titans recover. One play later, long touchdown to Julio Jones. I mean, it's a 7-point swing there, just like that. I mean, incredible plays in that game. I'm sure you've seen the Carson Wentz left-handed pick six in the end zone, just a full panic move. Then he tied the game. Anyway.
Right. Then he rallied.
Anyway, I'm a little sore because I continue to ride the Colts. They rebounded on Thursday. But yeah, is that the beginning of the end for the Titans? We'll see. I'll get back to that. My lock, I'm going with the 49ers, given 2.5 against the Cardinals. Very, very good chance that Colt McCoy starts that game at quarterback for the Cardinals. And the 49ers seem to be rediscovering that outside zone running game that has made Kyle Shanahan and the Shanahan lineage so successful. And with DeAndre Hopkins nursing an injury as well, I just like the 49ers to win at home.
AJ Green out as well, so that's a big deal on the Cardinals list as well. I like where you're headed with that. Upset pick. What do you got in the upset category?
I'm going with the Texans. And
wow.
Tyrod Taylor back. They're plus 210
at Miami.
Miami is one win. They stink. And I just think, the Texans, they're not going to be an entirely new team with Tyrod Taylor back, but they did get their first win of the season with him and beaten, I believe it was the Jaguars. And I just think Tyrod Taylor can keep them within 6 points. That's what the number is. And so plus 210, let's go all the way for it here. I did hit on the Steelers last week. I went 2-5 last week, but still hit the money line upset, which I take some pride in. So Texans this week.
We both did. I posted it here at the start of our show. 10-6 total on the money line upset picks with a plus total for the year. That's pretty inflated at this point. So that's good. I'm going with the Panthers against the Patriots. I think a lot of people believe that the Patriots have found their stride and that this is just Belichick magic, getting the most out of Mac Jones, and that they're going to come in here. They're in a defensive battle with the Panthers this weekend. Christian McCaffrey could be back for the Panthers. We don't know yet. It's going to be Saturday afternoon before the Panthers decide whether they're going to activate him off of injured reserve. If they do, that gives a big boost to the Panthers offense that's been missing for a while. I don't expect Christian McCaffrey to play because he doesn't play enough. And that's not the signs of a
scarred. Even if he plays, he's not going to get a full workload.
Right. And so you're going to be mixing through there. But I think the Panthers are good enough to play strong enough defense against a rookie quarterback, particularly at home, to keep this thing within range. So I will take the Panthers plus 165 on the money line there and see if we can hit one of those. Teaser. Right. I love my teaser. I love my teasers a lot. I love this one as much as I've loved one all year.
I hit mine last week, so I'm happy. Actually, I've hit 3 in a row, it appears. So awesome.
Let's you got good numbers in the teaser category. Bills minus 8.5 against the Jaguars. If there's ever a week to just, the Bills didn't look as sharp as they have last week. And so you get the opportunity against the Jaguars to just go nuts, right? And they're going to go nuts against the Jaguars and easily get that win into double digits. I'm pairing that with the over in the Cardinals 49ers game, which is over 39. I think both of those offenses, even with some of the attrition that we talked about earlier, 49ers getting George Kittle back, that'll help Jimmy Garoppolo and company. Kyle Shanahan seemed to find a rhythm with some things he did against the Bears last week. That game, easily both teams getting the 20 in my opinion. So you take the over 39 and you move on to week 10 in the teaser category.
Yeah, you're going to like mine then. I've got Bills down to 8.5 like you, and then bring the Rams down to 1.5.
All right. Yeah.
So Rams 1.5, Bills 8.5, 2 great offenses. Getting a little help there with the teaser. Book it.
All right. The just for fun category, we talked before we came on the air. We are both having fun in the same place. 4:25 Eastern time game, Chiefs and Packers. The Packers, I'm not sure if you heard, are going to be without the reigning MVP, Aaron Rodgers, for this game. Not sure if you took that into account with your pick, but Aaron Rodgers, just for your recognition, will not play and is out. I guess he's out because he tested positive for COVID and is unvaccinated and will miss at least 10 days. Is that correct? Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's it. What I think.
Let's have some fun, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. To aside from the whole Rodgers saga, I'm really interested to see Jordan Love. I mean, there's a lot of buildup to this start, just in everything that's happened since they drafted him, and the Packers drafted him for a reason, right? I mean, he's the heir apparent. For Bears fans, this is a cool look at what's next, right? And goodness knows they've been looking forward to something being next for a long time.
Bears fans have nothing else to do on Sunday, by the way.
That's it, right? And so there's a good chance that Jordan Love is the week 1 starting quarterback of the Packers next year. There's a great chance of that. I would say he's probably you would consider him the favorite to be their starting quarterback at the beginning of next year. So here's a look at what the future holds. And in that sense, he goes up against a Kansas City defense. Yeah, it's not very good.
Right.
And the Chiefs are laying 7. I'm taking the Packers.
7.5.
It's up to 7.5. All right. So I'm even better. I'm taking the Packers in this. I think this is probably an exciting opportunity for Matt LaFleur to game plan for a quarterback he handpicked, that they've been working towards this moment. of course there's a drop off from Aaron Rodgers to whatever is left. I mean, I will say this forever. Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback I've ever seen. He is just amazing. You and I have covered games, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, some of those Hall of Famers. Aaron Rodgers is the best. I'd want no one else under center for me. I still can't wait to see what Jordan Love does. And then the fact he's got an opportunity to score against the Chiefs, Packers, and the points.
Devontae Adams back off the reserve COVID-19 list. That helps Jordan Love. I have a great belief in Aaron Jones. I really appreciate the way that kid has developed over the last few years and become one of the better running backs in the league. That gives Matt LaFleur options to protect Jordan Love to some extent. Again, against the Chiefs defense that doesn't scare you. Chiefs struggled to slip past the Giants on Monday Night Football last week. I am with you. Packers plus the 7.5. It's a good late afternoon game on Sunday. My daughter's birthday party is in the morning. My son's soccer game is in the evening. Squeeze in the middle. Packers Chiefs, have some fun, and let's see what happens there at Arrowhead Stadium. That's a fun one. All right, that leaves us with nothing else.
This is not fun.
The college special. You're not having a lot of confidence with your college picks.
Four losses in a row, 2-6 on the season. Not good, Dino. Not good.
You can sit out if you want. You can just put pass.
Well, what I'm trying to do, whether I'm giving I'm trying to give the audience a winner here, and I'm doing that. You just got to know to play the opposite end of this. And so my pick, I'm giving it to you, right? Because you just take it to the bank the other way. Liberty getting 9.5 at Ole Miss. Hugh Freeze going back to the program he built up and then took down. 9.5. I think it's a high scoring game, and the back door is open in this game. And Hugh Freeze with a lot to prove. So Liberty 9.5.
Liberty makes its debut on the window this week, folks, via Rich Campbell. I'm going with Bucky, the Wisconsin Badgers, minus 13 at Rutgers. I don't believe in Rutgers at all. I know Rutgers came into Memorial Stadium in Champaign last week and brought Illinois back down to life after their 9-0 win. But Wisconsin seems to be finding something that it didn't have in the opening month of the season. I think that they can roll in this game. I'll tell you another game that if you're looking for some fun on Saturday afternoon,
I'm always looking for fun on Saturday afternoon.
Wake Forest, North Carolina with an over of 77 is a very interesting high-scoring game. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, Wake, I believe, scored 70 points while having a time of possession of less than 18 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. It's staggering. Look that up. I think it was the Navy game. And so they can obviously score. North Carolina can score. That's a huge total. It's too big for my blood, but man, that promises to be a fun one in the ACC.
Who do you like on the number in that? Wake undefeated and
and underdogs.
I believe it's a non-conference game, even though it's Wake, North Carolina, like
non-division, right? Like right. So it's
right.
It's still both playing the ACC. I know you know.
Yes. Excuse me. So the Deeks are dogs. They're undefeated dogs here.
2.5 point dogs.
Yeah.
2.5. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know who I like on that one. That's why I looked at the total second and said, ooh, if I had to, I would take the over in that game. Here's the other thing you can do with one of those games. With a total that high, look for some in-game action on that and figure out what happens in the first 4 minutes, see which way that thing goes, and then play accordingly from there. Those huge totals can give you some openings there to do something with. But
another college game I like, Michigan laying 20.5 against Indiana. Just a bounce back game for the Wolverines, and Indiana is not good.
Need to bounce back, man. Really need to bounce back after that tough loss to the Mel Tucker-led Michigan State Spartans. That's it. I like this. You can't read this because the lighting isn't good enough, but this card feels like a card that I feel good about, much unlike the previous couple weeks when I turned my card in and it was like, I don't know if I passed that test. This one feels like a winner. You can throw this back in my face next week when I go 2-5.
Say hi to all the NCAA officials you see in Pittsburgh. They're getting started. I'm hearing those basketballs bouncing off the floor as we speak. Yeah,
I'm flying out Monday morning, so I won't be there for the night before. But certainly, you run across officials everywhere when you're in on the road in a hotel somewhere near an airport. I'm not going to give away like you used to do at training camp. We give away our location, my room number, everything for all the sickos to come hunt me down. But that's it. Off we go to Pittsburgh. In you go to wherever you're going on Monday, and we'll see what we can do.
I'll be watching on Monday, and good luck to everybody. Before you go to the window, come to the window.
Yeah, we always do that, right?
Always.